Millwall do have a good recent record against West Ham in league encounters. They're unbeaten against the Hammers in the last 7 league fixtures between these two. It's a tough task today, though. West Ham have scored in their last 7 matches, and they've won 8 of their 13 home matches in the Championship this season. Well, let's have a look then at the two teams for you, starting with West Ham. 2 changes to the Hammers side that started Tuesday's heavy defeat at Ipswich. Abdullah Faye returns, having been an unused substitute for the last 3 games. Joey O'Brien is back after 2 matches out injured. Taylor and Lansbury are the players who make way. West Ham's new signings, Nicky Maynard and Ricardo Vaz-Tey, are both on the bench. As for Millwall, Andy Keogh makes his first start for them following his move from Wolves on transfer deadline day. Dunn and Lowry also come in. Mason and Kane, both on loan from Tottenham, dropping to the bench. Keogh's addition necessary because aside from Darius Henderson, the Lions have found goals hard to come by of late. Applause from the West Ham faithful to honour the memory of Ernie Gregory, former goalkeeper at West Ham, former coach here, who sadly passed away recently. Kenny Jackett, the Millwall manager, took charge back in November of 2007. This is his 198th league match. Little touch on for Henderson. Here's Keogh, the new signing from Wolves. Henderson, Keogh just ahead of him. And Green almost prevented it going behind for a corner, but can't quite. Well, I'm not sure whether it was a shot or a cross. It came off McCartney and Green. Couldn't prevent it crossing the goal line. And just wide, the header from Alan Dunn. Look at the run here that he makes towards the near post. Dunn, the man who's in his 11th season now with Millwall. O'Brien wins a corner for West Ham. Defending from Scott Barron. Cole. Not a bad effort from the West Ham striker. Just wouldn't drop in time. Henderson. Trotter. Smith sliding in. Now he was caught there. It's a straight red. Kevin Nolan is dismissed. And West Ham are down to 10 men after just 8 minutes at Upton Park. Here's the challenge again, and Kevin Nolan jumping in. The challenge on Jack Smith. And Mike Jones reaches straight for the pocket. You can see the referee's view there. And West Ham will have to play over 80 minutes of this match without Kevin Nolan. Cole. Fauban. Too long for Collison. Able to keep the ball alive though. Cole with the challenge. Fauban. Cole. Gathered by Ford. Cole creating a little bit of space for himself, and then the header didn't really have too much power. Away by O'Brien. Abdu. Feeney. A little bit of room for the shot, and Robert Green down smartly. Robert Green saw it all the way. Collison. And away come Millwall. Trotter, options left and right. Finds Keogh, who looks here for Henderson. Robert Green takes it well. Suddenly Millwall are away, 3 against 2. Some good ball in towards Henderson. Green reads the situation well. O'Brien might go for goal here. And it's only just over. Just over 10 minutes plus stoppage time to go until the break. And it's still 0-0 at Upton Park between the 10 men of West Ham and Millwall. McCartney. Faubert! The ball whipped in by McCartney. And Faubert just beating Smith to it. And there you can see the Millwall fans just in the top tier of the Sir Trevor Brookings stand. Bit of holding there from Ward on Cole. Noble will take the free kick. Driven in hard. Reed. Cole! West Ham lead in stoppage time at the end of the first half. And Carlton Cole gets it. The free kick whipped in hard. Reed's header. And Cole was first to get on the end of it. Ford stranded a couple of yards off his line. And he couldn't quite reach it. Carlton Cole gets his 9th goal of the season. Late challenge here. Now, what will the referee do? Taylor on the run through. Lowry getting to the ball first. And then the man. Sweeney's clearance doesn't go out of play. Tompkins. All rather congested on this near side. In by McCartney. Faubert! Off the bar. Julian Faubert with the glancing touch on the cross in here. He's the only one in the middle for West Ham, but he rises high. Feeney. Abdu. Millwall unable to find a way through at the moment. That's a good ball from Trotter. Smith, though, dispossessed by O'Brien. This time with a bank of 4 in defence and 4 in midfield, and Millwall are finding it hard to find a way through. Trotter looks for a way through and has found one. It's the equaliser for Millwall, and Liam Trotter has got it. Trotter scores for the first time since the end of November when he got a double against Doncaster in a home victory. Now he has scored at Upton Park, and it's game on in this London derby at 1 apiece. Cole. Taylor. Referee says play on. Carlton Cole's in a heap on the floor. Here's McCartney. Put behind by Lowry. It's a corner. And Cole is still down. And it's a caution. Referee, as you can see, plays advantage West Ham's way. Darren Ward is cautioned. 3rd Millwall player to be shown yellow. All of them in this second half. West Ham looking for an immediate response. They haven't conceded, and they almost get one. Hacked clear by Kane. Tompkins with the effort. Faubert going in. Ford gets it away. Reed! Winston Reed fires West Ham back in front. Doesn't Reed thump this one into the back of the net with some pace and power. Falls nicely for him. There's the challenge on Ford. Remember, Millwall have been playing against the 10 men of West Ham since the 9th minute. Kevin Nolan straight red for the West Ham captain. Trotter. Down. Looks to drive it in, and it wasn't too far wide either from Alan Dunn. West Ham relieved to see that one going wide.
For me, it's one of the best performances I've seen in my managerial career, not in my West Ham time. And I think that you know, the the size of this game everybody knows about, how passionate it is for both sets of supporters. We had a difficult time in the away fixture, but in the first half then came good. And then we got the crushing blow of having a man sent off after 9 minutes. But from there on in, the character and the ability of the side and the desire of the team just shone through for me.
Kenny, you've just had the benefit of seeing West Ham's second goal again on the monitor. Do you feel that there was a foul on your goalkeeper in the build-up to that?
I thought it was a free kick. The forward four-way was coming in on him quickly, and you know, as he went to deal with that ball forward, he followed through and wiped his legs out. So yeah, I did think it was a free kick.
Is there any point in you actually going to see the referee? Because it's not going to change the result, is it?
It's not. I haven't done so yet. I've come straight out to do the media, but you know, I'll think about that.
Under the current rules, the referee, I suppose, has to show a red card, but it wouldn't have been a red card a few years ago.
No, well, it shouldn't be now. You know, not everyone's a red card. You know, you can't keep going around saying everyone's a red card every time something like that happens. If you have a look at the situation, that Kevin's in control, he's not over-aggressive, he doesn't go to ground till after the tackle's made. Yes, there's two feet there. The left foot's miles away from where the player is. It's not going through the player. His right foot's going through the ball, and the follow-through catches the player. You know, now, if they're instructed that all those tackles are going to be red cards, we're going to destroy the game, because too many games every week are going to be 10 versus 11.
Things are just not quite going for us at the moment. You know, I'm disappointed with some things that we did, and you know, felt that certain things we could have done better. But at the moment, it isn't quite going for us, and today could have gone for us.
Freezing South Wales welcomes two of the hottest teams in the Championship. Cardiff are within striking distance of the top two, with a Carling Cup final against Liverpool on the horizon. Blackpool, also unbeaten this year, lie just a point outside the top six. A return ticket to the Premier League, the Tangerine Dream. Cardiff make one change to the side that took a point at Southampton on Tuesday. Stand-in skipper Stephen McPhail is rested, so a recall for teenager Joe Rolls. Top scorer Kenny Miller has scored in his last two home matches. Blackpool make four changes. A first start for Nua Dicko, the French striker on loan from Wigan. Another loanee, 20-year-old John Fleck, also starts. Lone defender and Scotland international Danny Wilson replaces the suspended Ian Evatt. And there's a recall for Chris Basham in a 4-3-3 formation. Away by Turner. Ferguson lifting it forward, and Phillips has Turner behind him. Neat play. Baptiste is up in attack, and Baptiste ball into the near post, and it took a deflection. I think it came off Gerrard, and it forced a fingertip save from the Cardiff City goalkeeper David Marshall. There was a nice interchange. Baptiste ball into the near post. Dicko threw himself in there, got in front of Gerrard. It was a good save by Marshall. Gloves, hats and scarves, very much the order of the day. And Cowie's onside. Whittingham gets it back to Cowie. Now can he find a cross? It's deflected, and it'll fall for Conway. And that was wild. That's halfway on its way down to the Rhondda Valleys. Well, it was neat by Whittingham. Cowie was the workhorse, slightly deflected off Ferguson, and it was a wild slash by Conway, who has scored in his last two games, so why not? Dicko did well against Turner. And Ferguson. The home fans are getting a little agitated. Taylor Fletcher was bundled over by Peter Whittingham, and that anxiety beginning to course through the home fans. Gerrard was the offender. Well, no, in fact, Whittingham it was. Taylor Fletcher looks like he'll line this one up. It's Crady, and there's a low shot, and it forced a decent save by David Marshall down to his right. It found a way around the Cardiff wall, and David Marshall called into action. And he found a way around the wall, and it was a smart save by Marshall. Ian Holloway, the most unbelievable moment of my life. He described the journey to the Premier League and his one season in the top flight. In towards the near post. Oh, it was a mistake by the defender and the shot on goal was blocked and away. And Lua Dicko is quick and Dicko is onside here. Can the Frenchman keep a cool head? On such moments do big matches hinge, and how big was that for Lua Dicko? Ian Holloway had his head in his hands. Dicko broke the offside trap, just needed a cool head. It was the best chance of the match, and he didn't force Marshall into a save. McNaughton is offering the option. Craney in front of him. Low cross, could turn by Mason. Can he find room for a shot? Miller. It was close. He doesn't need much room, does Kenny Miller, to fashion a chance. And somehow he crafted an effort on goal, and it wasn't very far wide. Almost a coat of paint wide of the upright. My word. Here's Mason for Cardiff. Conway once more finding room. Across was from Taylor. Cowie. And in! Super substitute, Joe Mason! The exuberance of youth, and Mason couldn't miss. It's a super substitution for Malky Mackay's side. And Cardiff City have their noses in front. An inspired change, and Mason finds the back of the net. He couldn't really miss. It was Taylor's deep cross. Cowie had peeled away, and from just a couple of yards out, it's driven home by Joe Mason. Matt Phillips just onside, no flag. And again the cover came across. Cowie was back working hard. Such tenacity about Cardiff City's play. It is a corner. Malky Mackay was remarking on the athleticism and fitness of his side. They'll defend a corner here though. Matt Phillips, it's deep to the far post. Oh, it was a poor punch though by Marshall. And the shot from Phillips! Kevin Phillips does what only he knows how to do best. Super substitute for Blackpool. And Ian Holloway's side have come from behind yet again. It's a winter wonderland in the Welsh capital. Such resilience, such prowess from Kevin Phillips. And the master marksman has done it once more. There's the touch, picked his target, bang! It was brilliant from Kevin Phillips. Cardiff couldn't get it away, and how he steadied himself and how he finished. Kevin Phillips, 270 career goals now. And look at that, it was unstoppable. Nice turn by Mason, and still Mason who gets the rub of the green. Cowie's wide, and Cowie's low cross. There was no penetration, and cleared away once more by Blackpool, and Phillips is on the end of it. Kevin Phillips for Blackpool. Only Roman Bednar in support. Here is Bednar. Bednar goes to goal. It's half stopped. Matt Phillips is onside. Matt Phillips blocked again by Blackpool. Phillips again! Matt Phillips! Has he won it for Blackpool? It's the Phillips double act here. And 20-year-old Matt Phillips has scored for Blackpool. And the travelling Tangerine Army are dancing in the snow at the Cardiff City Stadium. They've come from behind yet again. It's Holloway Houdini, and look at Matt Phillips. Well, his first shot was blocked by Taylor. His second one was precise in the bottom corner. And Blackpool have stolen it once more, just like they did in the playoff final against Cardiff City 2 years ago. Blake. Again, they're looking for Gested. Gested wins his header. Mason's onside. Was he held back? The referee said no. Mason went to ground. And it's again just good defending by Danny Wilson. Keith Stroud immediately shook his head as Gested won the header. And across the cover was Danny Wilson. Well, Ian Holloway said when he was on the touchline in the closing seconds of the playoff final, he didn't know what to think or where to look. He was convinced that Cardiff City were going to get back into the game. His team have got seconds to hang on here, and the fourth official about to put up his board. Blackpool strong once more at the back, away by Craney. Here's Bednar. We got a little lucky there. 3 minutes of added on time. And onside is Matt Phillips, and Matt Phillips took it beautifully, and Matt Phillips has scored again for Blackpool. It's a wonder away show by Ian Holloway's side, and the hottest property in Blackpool's ranks has sealed a massive 3 points for Blackpool. Look at the delirious supporters that have made their trip to the Welsh capital. But look at Matt Phillips. He had so much to do. He got away from Taylor and then picked his spot. And Marshall couldn't keep it out. Look at the turn. And then the acceleration, and the placement was superb. And Blackpool have risen to the challenge here.
50 minutes to go, we're 1 goal up, and you know, I've looked at the goals that we've lost today, and it's certainly a good finish, but errors on our behalf that certainly led to the 3 goals.
Well, you brought the cavalry on, and you can't teach what Kevin Phillips does, can you?
Priceless, isn't he? Dropped on his chest, 1 touch, and didn't panic and just struck it. And he knows where the goal is, and he knows he's got the technique to keep hitting the target, and as long as you hit the target, they go in if the keeper don't make a save. And you know, obviously he's done it for us. We needed that goal, we deserved it, and I'm delighted with the 3 points.
You see Kevin training, always hitting the target, and that's why he scored so many goals, you know. And as a young player, all you can do is watch on and learn and ask questions and learn from him.
What about Matthew Phillips then, a Cardiff target in the transfer window?
I think they were a little bit ambitious there, don't you? To be honest, if he goes anywhere, it'll be one of the top 5 clubs in the country. He won't have to wait for Cardiff to become that. So slightly ambitious, slightly outrageous.
Blackpool are a good team in this division, and they were always going to be a threat. But we've got to play to the standard that we know we can set. And there was probably more players than not that went at that standard today.
Well, Birmingham's fans are Blue Noses. Tonight in bitter Brummage, Blue Noses, fingers and toes, as Chris Hughton's side protect the division's only unbeaten home league record against winter wobblers Southampton. Birmingham are buoyant, 6 successive League and Cup wins, but Southampton just 2 victories in their last 9 championship matches. Let's check on tonight's team news. Well, Chris Hughton's only January deals were outgoings in the shape of Liam Ridgewell and John Beausejour. Today he welcomes back Marlon King from injury. Kieran Undor is back from Africa Cup of Nations duty with Senegal. Adam Rooney fills the shoes of Tuesday's 4-goal man Nicola Zigic, who picked up a knock scoring his 4th goal at Leeds. In total, 3 Birmingham changes. It's the Saints side held by Cardiff in midweek. Jason Punchin's back in favour. Jack Corkin. Morgan Schneidlin's form keeps skipper Dean Hammond on the bench, and that's where window by Billy Sharp starts his Saints career. He's plan B in case Ricky Lambert and David Connolly fail to fire. Well, Danny Fox has lost out here now. It's Burke for Birmingham, and a free kick for Birmingham too. Schneidlin again the guilty party. He's had another good season, Schneidlin. He's 4th now since he moved from Strasbourg in his native France to join Southampton. Undor is a potential target here, a huge man to look for here. It's Undor with a header as well, and it's just wide there from the Senegalese. And he's yet to score for Birmingham, the player they've got on loan here from Saint Etienne. And this header was not too far away from 1-0 for the Blues, was it? It's a good cross here. That will be, I think, Southampton's first corner of the game. Comes almost 19 minutes into this first half. The away form has not been great of late for the Saints. Here's Jason Punchin. And the cross drilled in and deflected. Behind for another corner for Southampton. This by far their best spell of this match. Punchin's little back heel here. And the cross blocked away by Jordan Much. Birmingham have lost just once here all season. That was to the Portuguese side Braga. Connolly passes Punchin and looks to find Fox, but couldn't. Fox then goes in on Burke very strongly. And Chris Burke there feels the full force of Danny Fox. Card coming as well here for the Saints left back. Those fans want a red. What colour is the referee going to produce here, Phil Dowd? I'd imagine yellow is the most likely here, but Burke felt that yellow card indeed. Takes the ball, yes, but takes a hefty slice too of the Birmingham winger. Danny Fox there has the game's first yellow card. Here's Jordan Much. Much held up by Jose Font, and here now David Murphy. And Murphy tees up the shot from King, which is close. First chance of the second half. Murphy's pulled back here for King. And a good save there with the fingertips by Kelvin Davis through the snow. The keeper has to watch this, and it is a very good save from Southampton's number one. Blue noses, blue everything tonight. It is freezing in the West Midlands. Sharp here will put the pressure on Davis. One thing Billy Sharp gives you as well as goals is a prodigious work rate. By Fox here looking for Ricky Lamberts. Lambert through for Billy Sharp. Billy Sharp still wouldn't sit for him. It might do now though. And Sharp blocked away, and the ball eventually comes zipping back in from long distance. It was Murphy's block initially. And the final shot from Schneiderlin was well off target. This now is Marlon King. Chris Burke. He's had a strong and bright game, Burke. He's now going to go outside of Danny Fox, but Burke won't get the crossing, but he will get the free kick. And Fox, who got a yellow card in the first half, and he's walking a pretty fine line. Fox comes across here and pushes man and doesn't win ball. That's the free kick. And Phil Dowd has gone for a second yellow card here, and Danny Fox is sent off for Southampton. And we'll finish the game here with 10 players. Well, here you see again Danny Fox on a yellow card. There is contact, it is fairly minimal, but on a yellow card, it's a very risky challenge to make. And Danny Fox, as you see, sent off by Phil Dowd.
I think on another day, I think when the conditions are better, you're looking at the technical strikes that perhaps we had, and you're thinking that we could have done better, but I think we've done the best we could under the conditions. I thought if there was a side that was going to win it, I thought we did edge it. They had good possession at times, but I thought in the final third we showed just that little bit more, got to the byline a little bit more, and of course Marlon King's was probably the best chance of the game.
That's a good point. When you look at it away from home, we kept a clean sheet. Weather conditions, as you say, they weren't conducive for great passing football. After the first 10 minutes, I thought we've controlled the game, passed the ball about well in the first half, I'm talking about, but we've not really wet the goalkeeper. We've not penetrated enough, and in the end, you know, it's a player's been sent off with 10 minutes to go. It's not sending off, in my opinion. When you look at the second booking, wow, I think we've got issues in the game if we're going to get a booking for that. And obviously, then you're pleased that you get a point at the end of it.
It was business as usual at the Riverside, despite a temperature of -5 degrees Celsius. Just over 15,000 braved the conditions for the visit of Crystal Palace. Palace had managed to hang on to hot property Wilfried Zaha in the transfer window. He has many Premier League suitors, and the highly rated forward kept showing why here. As for Borough, they haven't won a league game since Boxing Day, a 5-match winless run, and their efforts were tame again. early sub Mallory Martin not really testing Julian Speroni. Little then to warm the hearts of either manager or the freezing fans in the first half. In the second, the match did pick up a little. Borough's Jason Steele was the busier of the two keepers, saving from Zaha here. Chris Martin's follow-up blocked by Justin Hoyt. With a goal difference of just +3, Borough signed Lukas Jutkiewicz from Coventry, and he wasn't too far away from claiming his first Borough goal. But it meant both of these sides are still looking for their first championship win of 2012.
Well, it's a deserved point. You know, we performed fantastically well. I felt we created a lot of opportunities to score, but it just wasn't to be today. You know, I thought we deserved the one, but sometimes you don't always get what you deserve in football. But as long as we work hard for each other and keep on moving forward in terms of picking up points, then I'll be happy.
Whilst we appeared ready before the game, I think the reality of the game was it was a tired performance, a leggy performance. Didn't really get going and played against a team with a lot of footballers, with very dynamic footballers. Young Zaha on one side, Scannell coming off the bench, Darren Ambrose, young Martin, the boy from Norwich on loan. They've got some very talented players, and it was a difficult afternoon for us. We accept that, and yet great credit to them for digging in on a day we could have easily lost.
It's been a winter of increasing content for Burnley. A run of 8 wins from 11 championship games has seen them move up from 4th bottom to jockey for a playoff place. Peterborough, meanwhile, had lost their last 4. The home side had managed to keep clean sheets in each of their previous 3 games. But with defending like this, you may wonder how. Paul Taylor was delighted to take advantage of that mix-up and put Peterborough ahead after just 12 minutes. The home defence was suddenly looking rocky. Just moments later, David Bell found himself in on goal, and it was so nearly 2-0. It's Burnley's home form that has let them down so far this campaign. They've won more away from Turf Moor. But they gradually recovered to gain a foothold here. Chris McCann set up Charlie Austin, but Joe Lewis was equal to it. So with time running out, a 6th home defeat looked on the cards. Until a very special intervention. With 3 minutes to go, top scorer Jay Rodriguez gained possession near the centre circle and started running. And running. And running. And running. And running. That was his 17th goal of the season in all competitions, and that late point kept Burnley in touch with the playoff contenders.
And the game plan worked really well. We always knew that they'd have a period where they got on top, but the way the game ended, I suppose, in the end, a draw is not a bad result, but the way the game was in the first half when we had total control, it's a little bit of disappointment. But I thought we were just going to hang on, but unfortunately not.
And when you got players like we have in the side, especially the likes of Jay Rodriguez, you always feel that you are going to score, and what a fantastic goal it was as well from Jay. So we're delighted with it. Obviously disappointing with the result because we felt we should have won the game. We wanted to win the game, but at the end of the day, a point is obviously better than nothing.
Brighton have had an almost perfect year. With 10 points from a possible 12, Gus Poyet's side have turned their league fortunes around in 2012. A 4-match losing run at the end of last year, now a distant memory. Leicester, on the other hand, have only won 2 of their last 9 league matches and started this one on the back foot. Ashley Barnes denied a Brighton opener by the assistant referee's flag. Barnes was involved again soon after, but Craig McHale-Smith couldn't quite connect with his header across goal. At the other end, Leicester were creating chances of their own. David Nugent off target here. In Jermaine Beckford, Leicester have a man in prime goal-scoring form. The former Leeds and Everton striker has 6 in his last 4 league and cup outings, and he was in the thick of the action for the game's first major talking point. Beckford involved in an angry exchange with Lewis Dunk in the far corner. Now the assistant referee heard something untoward, and after talking to referee Andy Woolmer, he instructed him to issue a straight red. Beckford's first of the season. In fact, he's only had 1 yellow prior to this. Before this game, Brighton had only registered one home win against the Foxes since 1994, and any chances of a maximum here were reduced when they were down to 10 men. Matt Sparrow's challenge on Leicester substitute Ben Marshall, a straight red for him too, 10-all. Undeterred, Brighton continued to press. Sam Vokes, inches away from Liam Bridcut's shot here. But intent on maintaining their winning ways, Brighton surged forward in search of a winner. As the full-time whistle loomed, substitute Vicente's cross eluded the Foxes' defence, and it fell to Will Buckley, who did the rest. And it got worse for Leicester when they were reduced to 9 men after Neil Dans was shown a second yellow for this challenge on Vicente. Vokes actually put the ball away, but the whistle had already gone. So 3 more points for Gus Poyet, and the managerial exchange more formal than the pre-match hug this time. Although Nigel Pearson was left very frustrated at the sending off of Beckford.
I'm more than disappointed. You know, I may be trying to put a calm slant on this, but the players are furious. We're furious, and it's certainly affected the game.
These are bleak times at the Rico. With just 5 league wins all season, Coventry went into their game with Ipswich rooted to the bottom of the table. Regardless of the wintry weather, that's enough to send a chill down the spine of even the most dedicated Sky Blues supporter. And the way the visitors made all the running early on would have sent shivers through the home ranks. Daryl Murphy should have done better here. 22 minutes in, they did take the lead, buoyed by Tuesday's 5-1 win over West Ham. The Coventry defence made a hash of clearing the danger, and J. Emmanuel Thomas made the most of the opportunity, with some assistance, to fire the visitors ahead. 3 points today would have been Coventry's 900th home league win, and there was soon hope of achieving that landmark. Gary McSheffrey appeared to have turned in Sammy Klingen's free kick, but referee Nigel Miller had already spotted a handball by Ibrahima Sonko. So instead of a goal, they had a penalty, and Klingen took the opportunity and the plaudits. Stung into action, the home side went in search of another goal, and on the stroke of half-time, they got it. Jordan Clark's long throw was nodded into the path of Gary Deegan, and how's that for a 3rd league goal of the season? But that comeback only inspired Ipswich, who went on the offensive after the break. Richard Wood's well-timed challenge was enough to keep the status quo. But Ipswich were in the ascendancy now. Michael Chopra almost had an equaliser here. With 64 minutes gone, their persistence paid off when they were awarded a penalty. Richard Keogh made this challenge on Lee Martin. Mr. Miller waved away protests and awarded his 2nd penalty of the game. Martin prepared himself to take it, but Joe Murphy guessed right. Michael Chopra, though, was on hand to head in the rebound, and Ipswich are level at 2-all. Coventry, though, have made a habit of squandering points from winning positions this season, and 5 minutes into injury time, they did it again. Chopra's 10th league goal of the season piled more misery on Andy Thorne.
You know, it happened to us in the week as well, and it's happened a few times to us, and it's something we have to learn. We talk about it, but we can't keep letting it happen, because we put lots of effort in and a lot of commitment. And that's Tuesday, and today now we've come away with nothing when, you know, we should have come away with points.
We came back second half, and I thought we were the best team second half. Dominated for long periods, had good opportunities, but they were always threatening on the break, and to score it so late is obviously a great result for us.
No one could accuse Leeds caretaker manager of lacking experience. As a player, Neil Redfern racked up almost 800 league appearances. But in difficult conditions at Ashton Gate, Bristol City's bright start was going to test his managerial mettle. Albert Adoma sending Andy Lonergan full length, before another blistering break from the home side had the Yorkshire club frantically backpedalling. Once again, Adoma found Lonergan too acrobatic to beat. So far, a familiar story for Leeds, who'd managed just 2 points on the road since November. But 5 minutes before their first half-time team talk from Redfern, they split City open superbly. A flowing move left Rob Snodgrass in the clear. United in front and looking comfortable by half-time as the home side's afternoon took another turn for the worse. In referee James Linnington's eyes, McCormack must have been on his way to double the lead when James Wilson took drastic action. After having some time to think, the official opted for the harshest penalty possible. City shrugged off the setback to almost level the scores immediately. Neil Kilkenny agonisingly close to pegging back his former club just before the teams went to the dressing rooms. The midfielder wouldn't get another chance, taken off at half-time as Derek McInnes reshuffled his 10 men, who were relieved to see the linesman's flag after the break when McCormack thought he'd stretch Leeds' advantage. Alarm bells sounding and tempers fraying in that City defence, and they'd soon be facing even more of an uphill task. With over half an hour still to play, Yannick Bolasie tangled with Adam Smith. Already booked, he was off to join Wilson in the stands. Against 9 men, Leeds were set fair for their first win in 5 on the road. McCormack having the time and space to set himself up for his 15th of the season. To their credit, the home side kept battling. Leon Fontaine close to providing an unlikely lifeline. But Leeds maintained the pattern set as they saw off Ipswich a fortnight ago. Luciano Becchio rounded off their victory to make it the same scorers in the same order, albeit for a different boss who'd like to keep the job. Redfern off the mark with a win, while McInnes could only rue the red cards, the second especially.
If anything, it's a coming together right in front of the linesman. There's absolutely no malice in the challenge, and no pull in the jersey, nothing. And I think that was very tough on Yannick. And ultimately, once we got to 9 men, the game's effectively going for us, you know. So I think a bit naive with 1 or 2 things today as a team, and but I think the referee got the first one right, the second one wrong.
When they both lost their managers in the summer and underwent major squad restructuring, perceived wisdom was that Watford and Barnsley would spend the season in it up to their necks and propping up the table. In stark contrast, both are contemplating respectable mid-table finishes. Not bad for a couple of Championship managerial rookies. The step up from assistant to manager, discussed.
Challenging on this occasion because obviously we had a lot of different transitions in the summer, you know, behind the scenes, new owner, shuffling around the offices, and then obviously on the pitch we had to change things quite a lot with a lot of player sales and then new players coming in.
What's the biggest thing you've had to deal with so far? What's been the thing that's got you thinking, oh, what do I do here?
Well, I think reshuffling the squad at such short notice, because obviously I took over sort of 4 or 5 days before pre-season was really active, and a lot of the targets that we'd aligned, obviously when I was with Malky, he then took to Cardiff.
We've done reasonably well. We've upset, I suppose, the bookmakers. They had us in the bottom 3 for most of the season, relegation favourites, but the lads have been absolutely superb, and it's an education, a good one.
I think he's turned a lot of fans round who were perhaps not unsure at the beginning, but yeah, we're quite happy to give him a chance and see what he did.
Any noticeable changes under Keith Hill?
Well, playing better attacking football. Sometimes we're too attractive and we use off at times, same as being Derby, we're 3-0 up the course and then hanging on at the end.
The latest challenge for both managers, coping with the departures of their star strikers on transfer deadline day. Having resisted Newcastle's overtures for defender Adrian Mariappa, Watford still had to contend with 8-goal Marvin Sordell being pulled from their squad 90 minutes before their win at Millwall, as he made a last-gasp move to Bolton.
Well, like anyone, no one wants to lose good players, and we had to reshuffle the team 2 hours before the game. And
literally, you had no wind of this, or a little bit of a wind that Bolton
of course you have a wind of it, but the crunch moment is if someone pays enough where the club deem it appropriate that player leaves.
So he's had his pre-match with you and everything, and all of a sudden finds himself having to go to wherever Bolton want him to go to for his medical.
Of course, and for the players to refocus on that and deal with that was exceptional.
As for Barnsley, they'll finish the season without Ricardo Vazte, whose 12 goals in 12 starts earned him a move to West Ham.
Ricardo Vazte was available at the beginning of the season to every manager in the Championship, and nobody wanted him then. but I suppose it shows what a good job Barnsley are capable of doing with this type of player.
Do you think you're punching above your weight?
You have to believe in what you're doing, and I certainly believe in what I'm doing, and I know the staff do, and what they're doing with hopefully my guidance, and I know the players do it.
Just over 11,000 hardy souls joined Clem in the Hertfordshire icebox, and the best of the few early chances fell to the home team. Although Joe Garner completely missed his kick, John Eustace got his effort away to keep visiting keeper Luke Steele interested. Both managers had been able to stick with winning teams after midweek successes. Alex Kasaniklic made his debut at Millwall, and boss Sean Dyche now had a second chance to size up the young Swede. That was comfortable for Steele, while Rob Edwards' header was Barnsley's only goal-bound attempt in the first half. 18-year-old Sean Murray's quickly taken free kick was deflected, but still found a route to Eustace, who added an acrobatic finish, the skipper's third of the season. And he was certainly getting a taste for goal. From Garner's delivery, he could, perhaps should, have hit the target again. The visitors were struggling to contain the Garner-Eustace combination. Lloyd Doyley's 68th minute throw found Garner, and defender Stephen Foster inadvertently headed perfectly for the on-rushing Eustace. Watford on their way to back-to-back wins. Credit to Barnsley for their endeavour. Scott Goulbourne arrived from the bench for his debut after signing from Exeter. On 85 minutes, Craig Davis was gifted possession. His cross came off the head of defender Lee Hodson to find Goulbourne, and the 23-year-old had a debut goal. But Watford held on, and a clash in the final seconds between Garner and Foster summed up the afternoon. It was tepid rather than boiling.
John, who needs Marvin Sordell when the captain can get a couple of cracking finishes like that?
Yeah, we'll take that. Very good. It's been a great week for the team and the club on the whole, and you know, it's a good 3 points.
I mean, you've been here for a few managerial regimes. Signs that it's really coming together under the current fella.
Yeah, you know, he loves what he does. He's a very passionate and emotional man, and he comes out in the team, as you can see today. You know, for our hearts out, and you know, he's got a very good staff behind him as well, and hopefully he can have a good career.
Slowly but surely it's coming together.
Well, it did for, you know, 60 odd minutes, 65 probably. I thought we were good value, especially first half. Played well, looked productive but looked solid. 2-0 up and we looked comfortable, and then they score a goal, and obviously it just gets a bit nerving, a bit jittery, and sometimes you just come off that front foot, and we just sank in a little bit. But overall it's been a tough week for this club.
That was a boring game, a game that didn't inspire me.
Why?
Because a Y's not a Z, my dad used to say to me.
Huddersfield began the day in the automatic promotion places, but with third place Sheffield Wednesday beating the Freeze 2, needed 3 points to be sure of staying there. Normally Jordan Rhodes is just the man for the job, but for once his aim was off. Danny Cadamartri provided that dangerous delivery, while this one came from the lively Jack Hunt and took a deflection which brought the best out of MK Dons keeper David Martin. Those driven centres continued to cause problems, and in stoppage time, debutant Callum Higginbottom saw his guided into the corner by Jamie McComb. Huddersfield had their breakthrough. The lead was wiped out in bizarre fashion. Stephen Gleeson's free kick midway through the second half, embarrassing Ian Bennett. Now the Dons had the momentum, and it seemed good reason to feel hard done by when Charlie McDonald's shot appeared to be turned away by Sean Morrison's hand as the defender dived into block. No penalty given, so the visitors must have felt they deserved the luck which came their way in stoppage time when Hunt's effort caught out Martin, but only found the crossbar. The teams were heading for the same result they had back in September in Milton Keynes, a 1-1 draw. Though Carl Robinson's team held their breath in the dying seconds as Scott Arfield fizzed one just past the post. Huddersfield's fans may be just as anxious about keeping their manager, who's among those linked with the Leeds job.
From your point of view, still totally committed to Huddersfield Town?
I'm totally committed every time I wake up. I'm a very honest and genuine man. I work extremely hard at what I do. And whoever employs us knows that they're going to get 100% off us. They're going to get total commitment and total focus, and that's what I give to this club on every single day.
Lee Clarkson has put a squad together here that is one of the best in the league, and you come to these places and you've got to show them. If you show anybody the lack of respect to this league, you're going to lose. And I thought that we conducted ourselves in the right way, and I think the draw eventually was the fair result.
Yeovil were on the wrong end of a 4-0 thumping on their last visit to the Steel City. That was across at Bramall Lane a month ago, but they soon made their intent clear at Hillsborough. Perhaps Spurs loanee Dean Parrott should have gone for goal. His unselfish attempt to find Gavin Williams let Wednesday off the hook. The home side didn't escape 4 minutes before the break. Ryan Dixon supplied the pass, and another Spurs loanee, Jonathan Abika, added the deftest of touches. Only Abika's second of the season. Not surprisingly, Wednesday boss Gary Megson was less than impressed with his side's first half showing. The Tottenham youngsters combined, and the Wednesday defence was scrambling again. With the snow now falling, Gary Johnson's Glovers hardly looked aside 15 places adrift of their hosts. They kept pressing, and Andy Williams arrowed another shot, narrowly wide. Yeovil had enjoyed a half-time lead when the sides met in Somerset back in September. Wednesday came back to win that one. Now Megson's men needed a spark to ignite another turnaround. It came with something extra special from Jermaine Johnson. A fabulous strike from the Jamaican. And 10 minutes from time, Wednesday's other Johnson completed the comeback. Although Yeovil keeper Sam Walker got a hand to Clinton Morrison's effort, Raider Johnson pounced and smashed in the winner. Megson's two Johnsons had beaten Yeovil's Gary.
We've had to come back from a goal down before and managed to do it, and again we've done exactly the same. So I suppose at some point they need credit for the character and the honesty. The first goal that we got was the best goal of the afternoon. Probably have to go a long way to see a better one. But that set the stadium up for what eventually happened.
Chesterfield's lowly league position bears little relation to their recent form. John Sheridan's side seeking a 5th straight win in all competitions, and very hopeful after 17 minutes as Drew Talbot's shot crept in. Disturbingly lacklustre defending from a Carlisle side hammered 4-0 at Hartlepool last time out, and certainly not the reaction manager Greg Abbott had wanted. This was more like it, Liam Noble whistling a warning just wide of the mark. Chesterfield weren't finished though. After the break, Adam Collin demolished teammate Ben Parker and almost allowed Nicky Ajose to increase their advantage. The former Manchester United trainee on loan from Peterborough enjoyed a lively debut that will lift the club's spirits. His impressive trick and change of pace opened up Carlisle again. Peter Murphy to the rescue. The Spyrites would regret those chances that went begging. 15 minutes from time, Parker, the home side's new capture on loan from Leeds, squared the scoreline. And that set up Carlisle for a grandstand finish. With 6 minutes to go, Chesterfield folded. James Hurst back pass poorly judged, and Francois Zoko made him pay. A late turnaround which plunged Sheridan's battlers back to the bottom of the table.
Obviously, we're absolutely delighted to have won a game that at half-time we didn't like winning. You know, we played in a team near the bottom of the table, scrapping and fighting for their lives off a really good run. Playing well, defending really well they are, and the difficult games, this league's a funny league this year, you know, top beats bottom, bottom beats top, it doesn't really matter. So, greatest respect to Chesterfield. We knew it was going to be really tough, and we were disappointed the way we've played first half, and I thought we looked a bit edgy and a bit nervy, which is strange.
Tranmere boss Les Parry had been so impressed with last week's draw against Huddersfield, his side took another look at the video. If that was worth watching, then Adam McGurk's 5th-minute strike is bound to get another viewing. That was his 3rd in 3 games. Wycombe boss Gary Waddock had made 3 changes to his side, including a starting place for Gareth Ainsworth. And the 38-year-old laid on the equaliser for Matty Wichello. A debut goal for the 20-year-old signed on loan from Watford. Waddock recruited 4 players in January, and the new influx appeared to give Adams Park a lift. The Chairboys had the lead on 31 minutes. David Buchanan was spared an own goal, but Wycombe skipper Ainsworth was lurking and prodded home at the second attempt. And Tranmere's form on the road hardly suggested they'd managed to come back. They'd lost 6 in a row on their travels before this, but they gave their hosts a real fright. Mustafa Tariaki was the first to threaten, denied by the crossbar. Rovers continued the second half onslaught, and Nicky Bull's goal was fortunate to survive. Ian Goodison must still be wondering how he failed to score. Somehow Leon Johnson and then Ben Strevens deserved the defensive plaudits from the home crowd. On 66 minutes, another escape for Wycombe. This time John Welsh, the unfortunate rover. The home side had ridden their luck, and they could have eased their worries with a smart move. Stuart Bevan put Matt Bloomfield through, and this time Owen Fon Williams, making his first appearance since November, enjoyed a slice of good fortune. As the contest moved into stoppage time, there was still one final cruel twist for the visitors. Wycombe couldn't deal with the free kick, and a Welsh back heel ricocheted off West Brom loanee Latif Elford Aliou, who found the net. But the assistant's flag denied Rovers and ensured Wycombe rose out of the bottom 4.
It was a big result today, obviously, with the games being called off. Obviously, also 1 or 2 teams in and around us played, and the results didn't go their way. So we knew if we were to pick up 3 points, we could benefit from it, really.
We shouldn't have had a hill to climb, which we did. And you know, we've gone to the second half, and to be fair to the lads, they've pulled it out, and you're right, we dominated it, and then we should have got an equaliser, but we shouldn't have been in a position where we needed an equaliser.
It took next to no time for Southend to establish their superiority at home park. Inside the first minute, Plymouth's defence was in a mess, and the strugglers paid heavily. Michael Timlin pouncing after Luke Young's stray pass to give Southend boss Paul Sturrock an ideal start against one of his former clubs. Argyle's response, a couple of efforts from Paul Watton which looked typically spectacular, but failed to test Glenn Morris. Southend knew a victory would take them top of the table, and Plymouth were finding them hard to contain. Peter Gilbert not too far from a decisive connection. And the lead did double soon afterwards. As the Shrimpers turned the screw, Liam Dickinson's shot got a crucial touch from Dave Martin. The midfielder's second goal since joining from Derby had the promotion chasers sitting pretty. But they still wanted to make absolutely sure. Ryan Hall bringing out the juggler in Jake Cole, with Argyle keen to get to the dressing room to regroup. After the break, the home side improved, but were still grateful for Cole's reactions, brilliantly thwarting Bilal Mosny from point-blank range. How crucial that turned out to be. With just 4 minutes to go, a glimmer of hope for Argyle. Morris unable to keep out Nick Chadwick's shot. The Devon club had the platform for a stirring final push. Now the promotion hopefuls' nerves were jangling as Plymouth went for broke. Fleetingly, it seemed the strugglers would finish up frustrated as Chadwick hit the post, but sub Alex McDonald snatched a draw. A memorable debut for the lad on loan from Burnley.
I'm gutted for the supporters that have travelled. You know, we were so dominant in the first half, and then we've changed our idea how we should play the game. We tried side, you know, passing the ball in difficult conditions in the second half, and we've came off the pace, and we've paid dear for it.
You find a lot out about people when things aren't going well for you, and you know, it just shows that the lads in there are fighting to the death whatever happens.
Only one game going ahead in Empire League 2. Southend failed to go top after Plymouth's late comeback, but they move up a place into second. It's as you were at the bottom, as Plymouth, the only side that played, stay in 23rd. In Empire League 1, Sheffield Wednesday's win means they move into second as they swap positions with Huddersfield, who could only draw. Carlisle's win sees them go level on points with Stevenage. Chesterfield's good run of form came to an end and are now back at the foot of League 1. Wycombe move up 4 places and are now in 20th. Tranmere and Yeovil stay in 17th and 18th respectively after their defeats. At the top of the Empire Championship, West Ham's win means they extend their lead at the summit to 4 points. Southampton and Cardiff stay in second and third. Birmingham and Middlesbrough both drop a place after their draws. Blackpool are up to 4th now, while at the other end, the bottom 6 teams in the Championship stay the same. with Ipswich being the only winners. Watford's crucial win moves them up 2 places, with Barnsley, the team they beat, dropping a place to 15th. Right, before we go, the usual reminder, if you want to watch the show back again, it's on the red button and on Freeview until midday on Sunday. It's also on the iPlayer all week. And if you're after extended match highlights of each game, you'll be able to see them on the BBC Sport website. Tomorrow we've got the East Midlands clash between Derby and Nottingham Forest live on Sunday lunchtime. We're on air just after midday on BBC One. Then on Sunday evening, Match of the Day 2, we'll have the best of the day's Premier League action, including, of course, Chelsea versus Manchester United. Join Colin for that at 10 o'clock on 2. And on Monday night, late kick-off will round up all the news and stories from the Football League in your region at 11:05 on BBC One. OK, Leroy, thanks for your company tonight. Hope to see you a little later from Pride Park. From Leroy and from me, good night.